Thank you, Esther. As usual, I need the sign-in sheet because people sign in. Thank you so much, Elijah. Esther, you are first up. Just for folks who haven't been here, we start every regular town board meeting with a public comment session, if you would, when I call your name, if you've signed in, come up, try to speak about 3 or 4 inches from the microphone. We have a 3-minute limit. And if you didn't sign in but you'd like to speak, just raise your hand after we've gone through the sign-in sheet. Thank you. Esther, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Supervisor Andy Stewart and Town Board members. My name is Esther Baitler, and I'm a consumer who lives at the Kathy Lucan Independent Living Center in Spark Hill. Tonight I'm here to address the need for new sewer covers for the sewers on Route 340 in Spark Hill. Instead of getting new upgrades and new covers in Nyack, when it is windy in the morning and night, the sewer odors are awful, and we smell it constantly. 5 years ago, I asked to get sewer covers when Supervisor Whalen was in. This needs to be addressed. Instead of doing sewer studies, get sewer covers for 340. Instead of going and doing all these studies, work on what needs to be repaired before you spend more money. I also want to thank the town board and the highway department for helping us to get our sidewalks on 340. I also want to thank Dennis Troy for helping me and teaching me how to speak up in an assertive way to get things done. So, yes, you're always responsible.
Thanks, Dennis.
I really feel that right now we need to get these sewer covers. It's disgusting. And I think something should really be done about it. You all talk about doing studies. Fix what needs to be repaired before you spend more money. It's not fair. It's toxic and it's horrible. I don't know why you keep talking about upgrades and not repairing what needs to be done first. I wish that the highway or the sewer department would come down and see how bad it is. 5 years ago, I asked about it, and nothing was done. I would like to know what's going to be done about it, Andy. I really think it's time to stop spending money on upgrades and everything else and fix what needs to be done. It's really awful. A lot of our consumers are complaining about it. I'm not the only one. There's 24 of us. And I really think that the board should take action. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther.
Have a great night.
And for all the folks who are here, there are odors from time to time from the sewer treatment plant, and to the extent that they're from the Orangetown one, we have a process for reporting them, and the workers will go out and check and see if there's a blockage or something that they can do with chemicals. So please, Esther, whenever you have, if there's an incident and if it's particularly bad, make sure you call the town. I'm sure you have. I'm just saying as a reminder to anybody else who's listening that that's how we need to find out about these things to work on them. Victor Armaniaco.
Hi, my name is Victor Armaniaco.
Welcome.
I'd like to talk about the petition for zone change for 636 Greenbush Road in Bloville. Just because an applicant asks for a zone change doesn't mean it's worthy of a public hearing. I oppose the rezoning of the residential property at 636 Greenbush Road, Bloville, from R40 and LO to fully commercial zoning of light industry, LI. I moved to Blauvelt 26 years ago. I was helping my friend build his house, which is now next to my house. I had been in the area many times to help him with his house. The area was a very nice residential area. The house went up for sale next door. I did my homework. I checked the zoning maps, asked the realtors to find out all the property on my street. All the property on my street was residentially zoned R40, 1-acre lots with parkland also. I took the plunge and purchased the house to live in and raise my family in Blauvelt. Property values have risen over the years, and the neighborhood has grown and is still growing rapidly, with more residential homes and families. Now the landowner, Mr. Palladino, is asking the town board to change his zoning from R40 and LO to LI and allow a huge commercial building to be constructed on the entire property of 17.3 acres. This can only bring mine and all the neighbors' property values down. Why would the town even consider a zone change on this property? Greenbush Road is a residential neighborhood and should be preserved as one. What's to stop the neighbor that owns the property across the street from me that is also split zoned to ask the town for the same zone change from residential to commercial zoning? Greenbush Road is residential and parkland and should remain that way. You have the right not to allow this petition to move forward, and it should not be allowed to do so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Victor. Elaine Armaniaco? Sure. If you want to distribute something to the board, be happy to see it. Okay, we'll make copies and distribute it to the board for you.
My name is Elaine Armaniaco, and I reside at 577 Greenbush Road. And some of you are familiar with me. I watched a video of the town board meeting from May 20th, when a lawyer for co-applicants of Celtic Sheet Metal and landowner John Palladino submitted a petition for a text amendment to change the zone at an address called 636 Greenbush Road from primarily residential R40 with a smaller strip facing Route 303, zoned LO for laboratory office. The attorney asked that the town discuss the proposal and please not waste the applicant's time if there was not serious interest in the proposal. And I'm here tonight as a resident of 26 years and the chairman of the Greenbush Road Coalition, or neighborhood, pardon me. We changed our name to the Greenbush Neighborhood Coalition because there's been a growing interest. I'm asking you to please let this applicant know that their 200,000 square foot building needs to find a different home. A lower price may be what's attracting this current applicant, but it should also be what attracts the town, county, and state to acquire this parcel. I don't know if you have on record what the sale price is contracted for, but in 2008, this landowner offered this parcel to the county for $5 million. I have reason to believe that now the full market value is closer to $1 million, and maybe even less if it's in foreclosure, as we suspect. How do you even consider such a large-scale project on property that is recognized in your own comprehensive plan as worthy of preservation as open space? It's also on the list of properties in the open space acquisition program for the county, and it's one that the New York State paleontologist, an expert, Dr. Ed Landing, has identified as having rock formation that is unique to the entire state of New York, and where the only evidence of dinosaur tracks or remains is in the whole entire state of New York was found. Those tracks are on display in the lobby of our state museum, and I urge any of you to contact Dr. Landing for further clarification on that. He suggests that in its natural state, this site provides an education resource into our past of 200 million years ago. Dr. Paul Olson, who's a local resident, an expert in geology and paleontology, as you might know, is a professor at Lamont Doherty University, who is also coincidentally one of the two teens who discovered the tracks in 1972. He agrees. Dr. Landing has agreed to do a joint presentation with Dr. Olson to educate town, county, and state official as to why this site should be protected from development. Can someone defer their time to me if that's acceptable?
You're welcome to finish your thought.
Well,
you know,
I'll just give it to somebody else to read. Is that what you want me to do, or can we just defer my time to other people?
I'd like you to finish what you're reading,
Okay.
assuming that it's obviously, you know, somewhat within the bounds of.
Yeah, well, I'm really prepared to make a few points, so, you know, however you want to handle it is,
Keep
Fine.
reading. If we run over another 3 minutes, I'll stop you for sure.
okay.
Unfortunately, we
I
in fairness to
probably
anybody
will,
else.
but I'll just give it to someone else to read. So Dr. Landing's already agreed to do a presentation, and Dr. Olson is on his way home from China right now, and so we'll be discussing with him the feasibility of such a presentation. Remember, this parcel connects to Buttermilk Falls County Park just by Greenbush Road as a separation. It's the only thing that separates it. Buttermilk Falls already connects to Blauvelt State Park. Surely the words only and unique are what give reason for all elected officials in the state of New York to see the true value of this property is not in the rateable, but it's in the information into our past. And many a valid argument, whether you agree or not, has been made in favor of the economic benefits of open space as it compares to the tax rateable. I know you all know, or hopefully you know. If you don't, please find out about the history of our coalition. In 1999, we were forced to come to file an Article 78 appeal as our only recourse against what was declared an arbitrary and capricious decision to grant a car dealership the same permission to build on this site. The applicant didn't prove his hardships. He couldn't show evidence of financial hardship because he couldn't prove that he had marketed the property for anything but commercial uses. He left off the knowledge of the dinosaur tracks on his short environmental assessment form. That paraphrased that paragraph. And by the way, you all drove past that sign for years. 17.2 acres for commercial use available. We all did it. It was residentially mostly zoned. The only proposal I've ever heard about that wanted to use it for residential came in 2008 when a split zone was, a subdivision was proposed to do three, an office building, some cluster townhomes, and a preservation of park. Well, this new presentation has absolutely no mention or desire or interest in any preservation, and because we spoke to them personally. And, you know, at that time, I was really disappointed, I have to tell you, because I know that the major rock formation is in the center of this property. And I personally had some hardships that year. I was taking care of my ailing parents, who I lost both that year. And sometimes life gets in the way, and I wasn't able to voice as much as I wanted to. Lastly, I just want to say, there's no doubt in my mind that this would be spot zoning. No doubt, in every reading that I do. And I ask the town to see the board, to see this as clearly as we do, as you will read in the rest of my letter. I've been called the Blauvelt dinosaur lady. Don't take my word for it.
There are worse names to have.
Look at the packet. And I promised my daughter that I would say she hopes that you all Coelophysis our point, which is the name of the dinosaur,
Okay.
supposedly. Anyway, I have a lot more to share, and I
I know
think
you do. You
have
know,
the
when we go
power.
through, we have people who have signed up, and you've done a wonderful presentation. And once we go through the sign-ups, we can take a look at a show of hands and see if there's other people who want to speak, and sometimes we do take a second. I really appreciate you. We brought a lot of information, and I don't want to be abrupt or cut off, but we do have other folks who want to speak too. Watson Morgan.
Good evening. Watson Morgan from Blauvelt. I've been on the Open Space Committee, which kind of like it didn't fall apart, but when you're banging your head against the wall with the town and county and state that there's no money, that's the big mantra. If money is found, it would be a good thing to make an offering somehow with the gentleman who owns the property. There is other properties that are in our wonderful town. This is something that we did recommend on the Open Space Committee and was on the comprehensive plan known as the dinosaur property. It definitely was recommended. I believe it was the second or third choice as to what we wanted to try and preserve as something that was important to the town. And the things that Diane mentioned are key. Spot zoning is tough. I mean, especially when a third of the back-end property on Greenbush abuts houses directly. There's houses directly abutting, and also the properties that companies that were in the neighborhood abut vacant
Somebody's
property.
phone is ringing. Oh, there we go.
Vacant property that is abutting other houses. So it's a very tranquil community, which is something special in Orangetown. That's one reason why the R40 zoning was on that piece of property that abuts that. That's important. I wish there was money. I wish I had money to purchase it. It's a lovely piece. Unfortunately, most of when I came into Orangetown, maybe 1967, I recall the property as being a gentle slope, and you could see a red barn up on Greenbush Road. It was very tranquil. Then a major part of the dirt was excavated, I'm understanding, to make Orangeburg Road. Maybe there's dinosaur tracks under Orangeburg Road. Don't jump on that. But that's just an aside. You're dealing with bedrock under very minimal, what I call volunteer trees. They're all very thin. There's no trees on the property now that are what you consider mature. But definitely, if dinosaur remnants of any kind were found on that property, it would be something that would be wonderful, especially down in this region. There are some museums that deal with the aspect of dinosaurs. I went to the Blauvelt Children's Library, and they have like a whole row of dinosaur stuff there. There's a fascination. And I just think this is something that should be looked into. I don't really think that, and also I've been up at the building exteriorly to see what their building is, and there's tons of trucks and stuff. And is this what we want to have as the entryway to Orangetown? I think a park perhaps would be much better, but if somebody could come down and is that wonderfully thinking about that property, and definitely the property across the street would be a wonderful place. It's in a place that is LI zoned.
Thank you so much for your comments, Watson. Appreciate it. I'm sure we're going to hear more. All right. We can make copies of that to distribute to the board as well. I've got Ann Brennan. How are you?
My husband and I have lived on 559 North Greenbush Road for over 30 years. It used to be 462, same house. It was actually built by one of the Blauvelts. And I'm here because I'm very upset at the thought that you would think about changing a residential area to a factory. There are other places in Orangetown that they could be helped to get. I'm going to read this from Elaine's paper. Spot zone. This will most definitely alter the character of our residential neighborhood. This proposal is as invasive as the triple car dealership, and now we know about the site's value as a window into how our very existence came to be. There is not a single property zoned LI east of Route 303, between Bradley Parkway and our border with Clarkstown. The zoning districts in our comprehensive plan are there to protect the residential neighborhood. We've been paying our taxes faithfully for over 30 years, and then somebody's going to come along that never lived here, and we're going to all change everything for them. Clearly, this proposal goes against the comprehensive plan. Clearly, the applicant can realize this project on other property in Orangetown. There's a 14-acre parcel directly across this one on the west side of Route 303, where all the LI zone property is. There, the applicant's project will conform to that neighborhood, not our residential one. We ask this town board to see it as clearly as we do. Help the applicant find a more suitable parcel. Then work with us to collaborate with the landowner to have the parcel named as a landmark and listed on the State Register of Historic Places. There can be tax relief, and it can open the door for many funding opportunities. Elaine even received some communication today from an interested private organization. If you haven't noticed by now, our whole neighborhood is quite tenacious, including Elaine, of course. She believes in research, we all do, and homework. Our coalition is excited about and committed to getting this site preserved for all it can be for Orangetown. We should be boasting that it's the only known evidence of dinosaur remains was found in Orangetown in the whole state of New York. Thank you for taking a very hard look at these facts. Unlike what the ZNA did in 1999, please do what the applicant asks and don't waste their time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brennan. Are you guys going to submit a copy of that memo? Okay. Anthony Vaccaro?
Hi, I'm Anthony Vaccaro, and I grew up in Blauvelt, over behind the junior high for over 30 years, and then I left Orangetown for 20 years. And when I had my chance to come back, I came back to Orangetown. And my fiance and I, Anita, looked at 65 homes in Orangetown until we settled on Greenbush Road. 589 was built in 1936. And I just moved there in March, and when I bought it, I did my due diligence and knew that across the street could be residential, but not for commercial or anything. So that's why I fell in love with it. And I'm disappointed that this could change. We have 6 kids that live there with us, and we like the way it is. And I just want to say that I'd be disappointed if you guys, change that and change the personality of the road. It's really a great place as it is now. And that's all I really want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaccaro. By show of hands, is there anybody else here to speak in public comment? First hand up was Eileen Larkin.
Good evening, members of the board. Firstly, there's a television camera to my right, and I don't know, is that part of a private for a potential lawsuit? Or if that's a private case, I would prefer not to be televised.
To be honest, television, as far as I know, is legal and can't be prohibited as long as they're not in the way.
Well,
And
the
I actually
purpose
don't know who the gentleman is. So
I think
you
I
are
know
on
who it
TV,
is. I think
and
I
you
know
can
who it
assume you're
is,
being
but,
taped
I
whenever
think
you're in
the
a town
person
board
should
meeting.
identify themselves. If they are, I think they should be asked to identify themselves, supervisors.
Sir, would you like to identify yourself? He's shaking his head saying no.
Well, I do happen to. I think so, too. Yeah, strong resemblance. Anyway, I'd like to congratulate Mary Cardenas tonight on getting her perhaps a small amount of money to preserve a book that she has found over by the museum, and she'll tell you more about it later. But Mary has done an outstanding job as our town historian for many, many years. And on a lighter matter, I guess you might call it, my bugging you about the flags. I've been kind enough to draw a sketch for you that I think would make a better presentation for our flag, the 2 flags that are up there now, and the 3 printed frames that you have up there. It's just a suggestion, and in reverence to our flag, as you all know, the world is in a terrible place right now with what's going on over in Iraq, and God help those people that were brutally slain the other day. That picture will never, will stay in a lot of people's minds for a long, long time.
Thank you for saying that.
We are blessed to live in this country, and we are blessed to have the men and women that have served us forever and ever up until today. They're burying a West Point cadet tomorrow. He died in Afghanistan, and he's being buried tomorrow up in Afghanistan. So in all due reverence to our flag, I have been looking on the internet to see how it is presented at meetings, and all I'm asking is that you consider moving the framed picture behind Tom a little bit to the left. You center your American flag between that and the rectangular shaped one, and the other poster, move it to the right, and you center that, I think it's the
And you're
counter
submitting
flag.
a diagram, right?
I have a sketch.
Thank you for that. We
No
appreciate
charge.
it.
But
I don't
anyway,
think that's a controversial proposal.
Uh-huh.
I said, I don't think that's a controversial proposal.
No, it's not. But I just think just as a suggestion, and as I said, the past couple of days have been a really, to me, because I've been reading a lot about the Middle East, and if anybody wants to read a good book, it's called I is for Infidel, and it's by Kathy Gannon, who recently was killed over in Afghanistan after serving 20 years over there.
You're absolutely right. It's heartbreaking what's going on over there. Show of hands for public comment. I'm seeing a gentleman in a black shirt at the back there. If you could just say your name and where you live for starters, that would be great.
Yes, my name is Peter Solari. I live at 573 Greenbush Road in Blauvelt. I actually, as a member of the Blauvelt, the Greenbush Road Coalition also. And I bought my property in 1984, at which time I built the house myself with my own two hands. There was a house that had been engulfed in fire, and unfortunately the gentleman and his dog perished in the fire in 1983. And the lot sat vacant for many months until it came available for sale. And I've seen the neighborhood change in many ways since 1984.
Could you just say your address again?
573 North Greenbush Road. And my home is my retirement. It really comes down to that. I have a business that I run in Orangeburg also on 303. And I raised 3 children here, put them all through school, put them all through college. And unfortunately, because I am self-employed and I don't work for a big corporation and I don't have a pension waiting for me when I finally do retire someday. So anything and everything that is in that house is what I'm counting on for my retirement. And anything and everything that would have an effect on its value is going to be a problem for me. And unfortunately, I think this project is very intrusive. It doesn't fit the neighborhood scheme at all. And just the very fact of that he does need to go for a zone change to have this project move forward in an R40 zone is, the biggest hurdle that he really needs to clear and shouldn't clear. I passed the Orangetown building here many times during the day, and I see that big sign out there, Orangetown Rich in History. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why, till this time, and that it hasn't been done yet, that Orangetown doesn't step up and put a big feather in its cap and just make this site an educational center for people that want to come visit it. Make it a little Jurassic Park. Make it like a museum village. I mean, there are countless schools that would come to this site if it was developed correctly, reposition the tracks in the ground in a cement format. Students would love to come to a theme park like that as an educational site. And it would be a big feather in Orangetown's cap if they were to just move forward with a project like that. I'd rather see school buses lined up and down my street than tractor trailer trucks being loaded and unloaded all hours of the day and night. So, I know it's not set in stone yet, and I know there are hurdles that have to be cleared, but just know that myself, as well as the entire neighborhood in that area, is just vehemently opposed to this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Show of hands for speaking. I see Joanne, Fran.
Good evening, Board. How's it doing? Fran Oldenburger, 314 South Greenbush Road. Just wanted to say hi. This is the property that started me on my environmental committee projects and open space committee projects. This is the piece of property that really does make a difference. I proposed a long time ago, rich in history, we could start a trail from prehistoric to the Tappan site with the Indians, to Revolutionary War, to Camp Shanks, and have it be a really wonderful place for people to come to on a weekend from wherever as a historical journey. And we have an opportunity almost nobody has. And to see anything happen to this property other than to make it an educational site would be a true shame to all of us. It really would. So I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Thank you.
Thank you. Fran, show of hands. The gentleman in the green shirt. Bear in mind, folks, that this item is not on the agenda, and it's not at all clear. I mean, the status of the petition is a matter of discussion. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. How you doing? Jim Sinelli, 547 North Greenbush Road. What I have to say is really short and sweet. I've been up here since 1963, not on Greenbush, but in Blauvelt, Van Wyck, and Lappin Lane. In 1964, 65, I got 4 girls going to schools, and my wife and I used to take them on vacations to, where'd we take them? We took them on vacations, and they had these houses, log houses, and we said, when the kids get old enough, they get married, and they're out of the house, we're going to build a log house. So we did. In 1989, we started looking for property, and we looked all over Rockland. We came across Greenbush Road. We found a piece of property. I knew the owner of the property, and it was 1.5 acres, and it was perfect for a log house. In 1990, we started building the log house. In 91, it was finished. And when you build something on a piece of property, especially 1.5 acres, you're not only building on the property, you're looking around you and what you have, the amenities that you have, the street, the road, Greenbush Road, how beautiful it is. When you ride from Bradley Parkway over the hill and you look around both sides, it's gorgeous. I can imagine going over that hill and looking on your left and seeing the top of the roof of a 200,000 square foot factory. It'd be unbelievable. But anyway, I paid a lot of money for that property. At that time, in 90, property was going for a very, very high price. But I bought it, and right now I want to save it. And I think it's going to be reducing all the property costs down here. So if you go to it, stop this change of zone and do what we can to save this property and keep it Jurassic Park or whatever you have to do with it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Show of hands. Any other speakers? Yes, ma'am. The blue stripes.
Good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Kelly Maris, residing at 609 Greenbush Road. Our home is directly in front of the dinosaur parcel, 636 Greenbush Road. We have lived here for 17 years and love our neighborhood the way it is. When we were looking for our new home, we chose this one because of its beauty, peacefulness, schools, and because the zoning of the parcel directly in front of us is R40 residential and then LO facing Route 303. The following reasons are why we object to any zone change. Our quality of life would be affected. It would bring down the value of our property homes. The 17.2 acre property comes right up to Greenbush Road. If they built this 200,000 square foot building for LI industrial, manufacture, warehouse, office space, this will change the whole character of our neighborhood. They plan on having 2 shifts, bringing in trailers and trucks at all hours of the day and night, bringing noise to our quiet neighborhood. Because of the large amount of bedrock on the property, blasting would be necessary. This would affect our home's foundations, water tables, for we have well water, have impact on the watershed, and destroy the unique site of the exposed bedrock ripe for future study of prehistoric life. Also, it would disturb the quality of our life by being extremely noisy. After conducting little research, I discovered that there are many available commercial properties in Orangetown. Why can't they build or rent on any of the available properties that are meant for commercial business? This parcel was identified by the OPDAC and is on the current Orangetown Comprehensive Plan as a property worth preserving and also recognized in the Rockland County Open Space Acquisition Program. This property is in a protection area called the Route 303 overlay zoning. The goal on this zoning is to protect the viewshed area parks. This would clearly be spot zoning and alter the character of our neighborhood. In the past, the zoning board granted a use variance on the same parcel. Our coalition was formed and we filed an Article 78. The use variance was overturned and the court agreed the hardship wasn't proven, which is required for use variance. We have proven in the past to fight for what is right, and the Greenbush Neighborhood Coalition will continue to protect this parcel. This site should remain an open space and zone change should not be considered. And we just started a petition, and I think within one day we've gotten over 100 signatures, not even trying.
Thank you very much. Show of hands. Another speaker? Yes, sir, in the blue striped shirt. We got a lot of blue stripes tonight. Thanks for coming out. How you doing, Joey?
My name is Joseph Levine. I live at 537 Greenbush Road, North Greenbush Road, in Blauvelt. I moved there 10 years ago, and the people that we bought that home from were instrumental in the original opposition to the development on that site and the Article 78 that was brought. And you know, we bought in that neighborhood. Well, I have a 12-year-old son, and we bought in that neighborhood because of the nature of the neighborhood. It has a really charming and bucolic feel to it. There's a lot of children that live in that neighborhood also that would really be greatly affected by a development of this nature in that area. It would completely destroy the nature of that whole spot. It also is, just speaking to what Elaine and others have spoken to, I'm also speaking to the significance of the site because the dinosaur tracks the open space itself because it is contiguous with Buttermilk Falls, and it would really damage the nature of the park across the street, which is also then contiguous to Blauvelt State Park and Clouds on Mountain. So it really provides a unique opportunity there for the town to preserve the tracks, the site, and the nature of the neighborhood, which really is unique and special. And just speaking on behalf of my 12-year-old son and all the other children that live up and down that street, I think it would potentially present a hazard for them. And just again, the character and the nature of that space. So we really urge you to do the right thing with regard to this land and the zoning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just as a reminder, this item is not on the agenda tonight, but since a bunch of us folks showed up, our neighbors and residents, we do want to hear what you have to say. And with that in mind, if there's any other hands, anybody wants to speak for this or another issue? Yes, sir.
My name is John Melican. I live on 523 North Greenbush Road. We've lived there for 35 years. We've raised our children there. At the time of the millennium, the Journal News showed pictures of Greenbush Road, and the caption beneath the photos was the last rural road in Rockland County. And if you go ahead with this proposal, I'm afraid you're going to destroy that image. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other hands for public portion tonight? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public portion of this meeting. Can I have a second? Second from Moore. All in favor say aye. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. Obviously, this is an issue which is kind of strikes to the core of the balance between the quality of life, environment, history, and the property ownership and their interest in development. I don't know when we're going to have more discussion of this, but just so you know, no zone change takes place without public hearings, and there would be ample notification at such point as the item comes up for any town board action. That's about it for that one. Unless other town board members want to suggest any other issue that the folks have brought up tonight. We do have an agenda tonight. There's one or two new business items. It shouldn't take that long. I am going to recommend that we go into executive session at the end of the meeting to talk about a kind of a contract issue that we have to deal with legal counsel, who's sitting right over there. Are you guys set for item number one? Yep. Okay. I just want to make one announcement. We're putting an item at the end of the agenda here. It's a personnel item, and that'll be on there. It has to do with hiring for the Fiscal Services Department. And there's one other item, actually, that wasn't on the workshop agenda that's there, which has to do with hiring a consultant on healthcare and personnel issues. So, item number one. All of these items have been workshopped and discussed by the town board, and department heads have made comments and filled us in, and the background material is available on the website. The Harbridge item, we had town board discussion of it. They made a presentation. Let's talk about that when we get to it. I don't know, and Jeff, yeah, I don't know, just. That may be reasonable. Let's talk about that when we get to it and see if it's time sensitive or not. Item number one is award bid for yard waste machines. These are leaf loaders, and the highway department will be buying them for $32,000 and change each. I'll make a motion for this. Can I have a second? Second from Moore. All in favor say aye. Couple other highway items here. This is a bid for purchasing 24-yard dump trailers. I'll make a motion for that. Can I have a second? Second from Divany. All in favor say aye. The ayes have it. The third item is approving a contract with Cornell Cooperative Extension for the, this is an annual community-wide education program that enables the town to comply with its stormwater regulations. Can I have a motion for this, please? Valentine, second from Divany. All in favor say aye. Thanks to Cornell Cooperative for doing that, and the Highway Department for coordinating. The next item, number 4, is approving a supplemental agreement having to do with the Route 340 sidewalk, curbs, and drainage. And there's a series of descriptive paragraphs here. Essentially enabling me to sign the documents that need to be signed and so on and so forth for the construction to take place. Motion from Divany. Do I have a second? Second from Moore. All in favor say aye. Alrighty. Fifth is a kind of a housekeeping item. Highway Department dispensing with a bid for the Pearl River Revitalization Project. Can I have a motion for that, please? From Troy. Second from Moore. All in favor say aye. Number 6 is cause for celebration. This is appointing Assistant Building Inspector Glenn Meyer to the Building Department. Can I hear a motion for this one, please? Move from Divney. Can I have a second? Moore. Do you want a roll call on this? You want to? No. All right. Troy's abstaining. All those in favor say aye. The ayes have it, with the exception of Troy. Number 7 is the making permanent of our appointment of Donna Morrison to the Human Resources Coordinator position. And congratulations to Donna, and obviously happy to have her in that position. I'll make a motion for that. Can I have a second? Second from Divney. All in favor say aye. Number 8 is the this is the crosswalk and parking changes to the regulations to create more safety over by the Rockland County Conservatory of Music in Pearl River. There's a series of descriptions here. And we got a motion from Tom Divney. Can I have a second from Valentine? All in favor say aye. The ayes have it. Thank you to the Conservatory for working with the town and the Traffic Advisory Board and Rick Picola and the legal department putting this all together. Number 9 is settling a lawsuit, Ayers versus Town of Orangetown, for $15,000. Can I hear a motion for this? Move from Divney. Second over here. You want one, Dennis? Second from Dennis. All in favor say aye. Number 10 is our budget calendar. It lays out the deadlines and expectations as far as a schedule for getting our 2015 budget from start to finish. Everybody's had a chance to look at it. We do need to fill in a blank or two there in terms of scheduling the. Actually, we did decide on a date for department head review presentations. Yeah, I think it was a September 6th. Is that what it was? Because we could just, and we could always add that later, but I think it was September 6th when we decided that we were going to have presentations. It's a Saturday morning. Yep. Yeah, I think we went with the 6th. So maybe we could just have that as a resolution at some point soon, because that'll be a public meeting as well, right? September 6th. Yeah. Can I hear a motion for approving the budget calendar as described here? From Moore. Do I hear a second from over here? Valentine, all in favor say aye. Okay, we have a budget calendar. That's the easy part. Number 11, certificate of registration for sewer work. This is getting Pro-Cut landscaping set up from the sewer department. Can I have a motion for that, please? Valentine, second over here. Moore, all in favor say aye. All right, and then the other, we need to discuss 12 a little bit, but let me throw this other new business item on there, which I know we all agree on, and I just got the language from Donna Morrison, our personnel coordinator. And this reads, upon the recommendation of the finance director and the human resources coordinator, appoint Janice Ganley to the position of supervisor of fiscal services. Grade 19, step 1, has salary information effective June 23rd, 2014. We're very, very happy that Janice is moving up in our accounting department and filling the shoes of Ann Maestri, who is moving on to a new job. And we thank Ann from the bottom of our heart for all of her hard work and just the smarts and dedication and professionalism that she's brought to this role and really developed that position. And Janice, of course, will fill it, and we'll move ahead together. So thank you, Ann, and thank you, Janice. Is something wrong with that resolution? Yeah, what's the posting status of that, Donna?
It has been posted. It's, posted
we could have it be effective and push it out to the end of the posting period, which is, what is it, a 10-day period or something like that? No, he's saying they did post it. It's just that the clock is still running on the initial posting. All right. Well, thank goodness we have, with personnel matters, you got to make sure you get it right. The town board did interview, and we did post, but for a technical reason, I guess it makes sense to delay the appointment for a week or so. If anybody wants to know more about that, talk to me afterwards. Item number 12 has to do with Harbridge Consulting. Jeff, we had a presentation by Harbridge. Are we in a time bind here of any sort? Because Tom is saying, why don't we workshop it instead of putting it on as new business? So. Yeah. I have no issue with that whatsoever if we're not in a timeline. We have a town board meeting on Tuesday. Right. Why don't we put it on the workshop agenda? And if for some reason we need to vote on it and get a move on, we'll discuss that between now and Tuesday. But Tom is saying he didn't have enough chance to find out about it. So we're taking this one off the agenda for tonight, and we'll workshop it on Tuesday. And that's no problem with that.
It was brought in here for discussion when I was in Florida with my family. But bringing it in for discussion doesn't, we have a workshop and then you vote on it. Bringing in a discussion a month ago, you don't get to skip ahead of the regular procedure, which is to bring it to the workshop. It should have been put on the workshop last week and we could have voted on it tonight.
I don't disagree with you, Tom. Is everybody happy with that plan? Okay. So we're not voting on item number 12. Item number 13 is a list of documents that the clerk's office has received and filed. There are 8 of them. Are there any other items that we need to discuss? All right, thank you. We had a motion from Tom Divity, a second from myself. This is on item number 13. All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. All righty. We have an audit report from our finance director, which we're going to take a look at.
With all due respect to you, Supervisor Stewart, in the age of security, in this day and age, I cannot believe that everybody who stands here has to identify themselves. A gentleman comes in here and takes pictures of us. I have no idea. I assumed he's Dennis Lynch's brother, I assume. They're filming the thing for the meeting tonight. He
Right.
doesn't have to identify himself. How do I know who he is?
Mrs. Larkin, this
And
is
I
the
don't
first time
want
it's
my
ever
picture taken
happened.
by you should identify him. In this day and age with people coming into meetings and shooting and doing things like that, somebody can come in here and not identify themselves. Supervisor Stewart, take this under serious
We
consideration.
will take a look at it.
Thank you.
It's the first time anybody's filmed independently.
Being a member of the New York City Police Department for 36 years, this is a situation you cannot permit. In these times, you're putting everybody's safety in danger.
All we want to know is
Yeah.
who he is. That's it. That's all.
I'm sure we'll be able to find that out.
No, he should identify himself like I do, like everybody else did tonight.
You know, I don't want to debate this with you right now, okay? This is an open meeting. It's a public building. We're not checking IDs at the door. You should be aware of that if you're worried about
I'm not worried
stranger
about this. I'm
danger.
saying at least say who he is and the purpose of the filming of that.
I think it would have been respectful for him to respond at the time. But out of respect to the rest of the folks here, I didn't think we should be debating it. The finance? Finance, we have an audit.
Okay, thank you. The audit for the town board meeting of 6/17/2014 consists of 2 warrants for a total of $442,118.62. The first warrant is for $122,000 and represents the semi-annual payment to Medicare for retired employees. The second warrant consists of 182 vouchers for $319,000 and includes those following items of interest. The large money ones are number 1, $20,000 to Blue Hill LLC for the Pro Shop contract. Number 5, $11,000 ESC Environmental for 3 months of sodium permanganate. Number 6, Global Mantello Group, $25,000 for fuel. Number 13, Schultz Ford, $38,000 for purchase of F-250 plow truck for building maintenance. Number 14, Slack Chemical, $11,000 for sewer chemicals. And number 16, Tilcon, $13,000 for highway materials. Yep. Are they Windows 7? I believe they are.
As of March, therefore, they better be Windows 7. So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ask specifically, but I know Anthony's
Just-
talked about XP. We're not doing anything with XP anymore, and we're migrating from that, so.
Mike, you should have none left on the network right now that are XP, so check
Right.
that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only one is the one they use for the gas,
Gas
boy,
boy.
at the highway department, which is offline. It's just
Yep.
right, right.
Correct.
Yeah, Anthony Bevilacqua and Matt have been working hard on that whole upgrade. Well, that's something we can look into. Yeah, if you'd like, we could have him just write down what he's done. He's done a whole conversion process with new licenses for Microsoft and so on and so forth. Town board members, other questions related to IT costs or anything else? I'm hearing none. I'll make a motion for the approval of these 2 warrants. Can I hear a second? From Moore, all in favor say aye. The ayes have it. Thank you, Jeff, for putting that together and your team. We do have, like I said before, actually it's sort of a segue. There was one set of bills which we need to talk to our lawyer about. We're going to use executive session for that. The agenda has a couple of adjournments. We usually adjourn our town board meetings in memory of a town resident who's passed away. So in this case, I just want to read their names. If anybody has something to say in memory, please do so. We have Jean Menudo, Janet Hogan, and Maureen Harris. Their families will receive letters.
Could you add one more on? It's Patty Altieri, A-L-T-I-E-R-I. Died of cancer, about 48 years old. 49.
That's truly unfortunate.
Maureen Harris worked a short time in my office, and then shortly thereafter became ill. But she was a very good woman, and she's related to Pat Quinn from the police department.
Thank you for saying that. And in these good people's memory, we're adjourning this meeting pending completing our executive session. There will be no further discussion, town business conducted, or anything like that after this moment. Thank you.